Cross your legs in the center of your shins, feet beneath your knees. Begin the process of being here, dropping your awareness into your body, into the here and now. Letting the thoughts slow down, begin to dissolve away. And it's not that they go away completely. You can also move those thoughts to the back, bottom part of your brain. Just allow them to do their thing there. Ensure that your shoulders are over your hips. Find that even balance of the sits bones. Lengthen through the inner groins. Draw from the outer knees to the outer hips. Find a lengthening to the side ribs. Ensure the front, bottom ribs move towards the back body. And as you lengthen through the side ribs, stack your vertebrae one by one on top of each other, creating space between each one. And let your shoulders move away from the sides of your neck, lengthen from your armpits through your inner elbows. Allow your elbows to descend as you bring your palms together. Gently rest your eyes into your cheekbones. Soften all of your facial features. And begin the study. Observing your breath, studying your breath. Remember, you don't need to breathe. The breath will breathe you. Studying the experience. And let's chant the syllable Om 3 times together. Exhaling completely. Deep inhalation. Om. 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 Lifting your sternum towards the ceiling, lower your chin towards your heart. Release your hands onto your thighs with your palms up. With your eyes closed, raise your head. From the back of your head, gently let your eyelids open. All right, let's start off in child's pose, going forward. Adamuka Varasana, so feet together, knees apart. Come on and come. Sit bones on your heels. You might need a lift for your head, so have that nearby. Extend the arms forward and rest the skull either on the floor or on a lift. Sit bones as close to the heels as you can get them. Hands shoulder distance apart. If you have tight neck shoulders, they can be a little wider apart. And spread those fingers. Allow your fingers, imagine your fingers are growing longer. Fingers are growing longer, the thumbs are growing longer. Knees apart, Carla. Carla. Feet together, and knees apart. Pies junto y rodillas apart. I don't know how to say it. What is it? Separa. Gracias. Lift the elbows up, take the outer shoulders down. Lengthen from the tip of the first fingers out through the arms, the armpits especially. Create space in those armpits through those side ribs. Take the shoulder blades into the body as you do that. Move your sit bones towards the wall behind you. And as the sit bones move towards the wall behind you, allow them to descend towards your heels. Soft face, soft jaw. Fingers are still growing longer. Press the thigh bones down. Notice the experience of the breath while you are in this form. Again, a study. And coming up onto your hands and knees. You can use blocks of the chair for downward facing dog. Press down through the balls of the first finger and thumb. Rotate the upper arms out. But now again here, so the first finger is pointing forward. Allow the fingers to grow longer. Imagine the fingers and the thumb, when I say fingers, just assume I mean the thumb, are growing longer and extending away from the palm. Push down into the floor to lengthen through the inner arms. Turn your toes under, straighten your legs. Inhale, and on your exhalation, come into downward facing dog. Press your thighs back. Take your sit bones towards the ceiling, chest towards your thighs. Again, let your fingers lengthen. So wide distance between your thumb and your pinky finger first, and then imagine they are getting longer. Lift your elbows up and take your outer shoulders down as you extend through the inner arms, the armpits, and the side ribs. Take the shoulder blades into the body. Press those thighs back. Take your abdomen, roll it into your tailbone, press your thighs back. Extend from the center of the calves through the tendon, through the heel towards the floor. What's that brace on your ankle, Leanne? Is there anything I need to know? No. Okay. Look up, walk your feet forward, come into a forward bend, Uttanasana. Hold your elbows, upper arms in line with your ears, hips above your heels. Make sure your toes are pointing straight forward. So take a look at your feet, make sure your toes are actually pointing forward. Sometimes we don't know what our feet are really doing. And here too, you can imagine your toes are growing longer. Now remember the fingers were growing longer. Imagine your toes are growing longer as you balance evenly on the feet. Press the thigh bones back. Lift from your outer knees to your outer hips. Lengthen from your inner knees to your inner groins. Notice where there may seem to be a stuckness, and see if you can use your brain and your breath to send signals of appreciation first, and then giving you permission for those places to open. Letting your arms go, hands on the floor, walk your feet back, downward facing dog. Press the thighs back. Be careful not to be pushing the shin bone back. The shin bone moves back at the ankle. So where the shin bone meets the ankle, you can press back. That actually does press back. And the tops of the thighs press back. But don't just jam the top of the shin bone back. It puts a lot of pressure on the knee, which then, it affects the hips, affects the ankles, it affects everything else. So press the tops of the thighs back. If you'd like, if you want to feel that in the lower part, where the shin bone meets the ankle, press that back. And find that lengthening in the arms and the legs. And of course, the torso. And then look up, walk your feet forward, hold your elbows the opposite way. Toes forward, feet forward. And you want to make sure your kneecaps are forward too. So the main instruction is turn the thighs in, we say, turn the thighs in. But really, turn the thighs in so that the kneecaps are pointing forward. So you can double check that. And if you want to get a little bit more precise about that action of the thighs turning in, bring your awareness to the backs of your legs and open the backs of your legs from the inside out. And it's a similar action to turning the thighs in, but it has a slightly different effect, especially on the lower back. And if you can lengthen the groins, lifting from your inner knees through the inner body and opening up the backs of the thighs from the inside out, you may just find wondrous things happening. Or you may not. In both are perfectly acceptable possibilities. Move your hips towards the ceiling, let your torso fall over your thighs. And let your arms go. Sweep your arms back. Extend your chest forward. Keep the thighs pressing back. Inhale, come up into Tadasana. You can face straight ahead. So you can have your feet together. If you prefer having your feet underneath your hip sockets, that's fine. So facing front. Balancing evenly on your feet, even spreading the toes. We were working on the hands, but lift the toes up, and spread them as wide as you can. And I can now say this actually works after 20 years, 21 maybe, My toes are further apart than they were when I started yoga. I didn't say that after 5 and 10 people say, no, they're not changing. But you keep doing it, and eventually you might see a change. Then gently let them down, but keep them spread as they go down. Don't give it up. Keep them spread as they go down without gripping them, just like you feel the pressure, and then grow them. Allow the toes to become longer. And press the thighs back, not just the knees, the thighs. And lift from the outer knees to the outer hips. Remember what we were working on Tuesday is finding the firmness without the hardness and harshness. So ensure that there's not a harshness. Can you work gently and kindly? Not that there's no work, but sometimes we tend to overwork. Lift from the outer knees to the outer hips, compact the hips together, lengthen from the inner knees through the lower abdomen, the whole groin. And as the hips compact towards each other, take the tops of the thighs away from each other. Right? So when we compact the hips, sometimes we're just squeezing everything. And there are times we squeeze the thighs together, to be clear. In other poses and abdominal poses, we squeeze the thighs together. But in this case, we want the tops of the groins to actually separate. Now, technically, the top of the groins are above where the thighs are, but it can also work taking the tops of the thighs away from each other, even as you compact the hips towards each other. Take your front bottom ribs towards the back body, lengthening through the side ribs. Extend through the arms, shoulders away from the sides of your neck. Take your arms out to the sides, drop the shoulders, rotate the arms up. Keep the front bottom ribs towards the back body. Push the arms up, shoulders down as the arms go up. Keep the front bottom ribs moving in. Now, what happened to your legs when you moved the arms? So let's get back to the legs. Let the toes grow. Thighs back. Compact the hips towards each other, right? Outer knees to outer hips, lifting from the outer knees to the outer hips. Compact the hips together. Let the tops of the thighs move away from each other. And then keeping that stability, lengthen through the side ribs, through the armpits, through the arms. Turn your hands out to the sides. Exhale, come down. And place your fingers together. Turn your palms out. Just let the tips of the thumbs touch. Seek the webbing of the pinky fingers towards each other, even though if the tips of the thumbs are touching, that's not going to happen. But they still seek each other. Try not to lean back. Extend the wrists outward. So the wrists move away from you, but draw the shoulder bone back into the shoulder socket. And then maintaining that inhale and come up. And then reestablish, extending the wrist towards the ceiling, bringing the shoulder bones back into the shoulder sockets. Watch the front ribs puffing forward. And release your arms out to the sides. And place your fingers the opposite way. Now this time, try and get the webbing of your pinky fingers as close together as you can. And don't worry about the thumbs. Thumbs won't touch. Depending how close you get the webbing of the pinky fingers together. Extend the wrists out and draw the shoulder bones into the shoulder sockets. Inhale, come up. So even that very slight adjustment makes a difference. Try not to stick your thumbs towards the ceiling. So even though they're not touching each other, if the pinky webbing are getting closer, still have them on the same plane. Wrist towards the ceiling, shoulder bones moving back into the shoulder socket. Armpits open. Eyes of the elbows open. Of course, front bottom ribs moving towards the back body. Release your arms out to the sides. Come down. Are you in Tadasana or are you waiting? Are the thighs pressing back? Are you lengthening through the inner groins? Are you compacting your hips together and separating the tops of the thighs? And it's okay if you're not. You want to begin to notice what your body's doing, what it's not doing. Even before making the adjustments, we want to notice first. Right? Observation is always the first step. Take your right elbow on top of your left elbow, cross your forearms, touch your palms together. Take your upper arms parallel to the floor, forearms perpendicular to the floor. Rotate the wrists so the knife edge of your hand faces forward. Broaden across the top of the back. And study what's open, what's closed. So the front hand, this one, take it back. There we go. And release. And pause. Notice how the two sides feel different. Left shoulder, left arm, right shoulder, right arm. So let's try and even it out. Take the left elbow on top of the right elbow, across the forearm. The side's different. That's it. Yep. Upper arms parallel to the floor, forearms perpendicular to the floor. Rotate your wrist so the knife edge of your hand faces forward. Fingers up, all fingers, both hands, the fingers point up. So Kathy, take your front hand, and it goes, this one goes back and then around. No. This one stays up. Take this hand, your right hand, draw it towards you, and then take it behind your left hand. There you go. It's a confusing pose. And release. I know it's hard to see me, but you got it. You did get it. All right, now we're gonna swing it in. Right, some of you done that before. You swing them out, and then you swing them and get that little extra momentum, so that the arms are the elbows are a little closer to each other. Right, Garodasana, eagle pose. Swing the arms out, swing them back in, right on top of left. If you got it backwards, don't worry about it. Just reverse it next time. That's it. So the front hand goes back and then around. Here, switch. Yeah, there you go. Upper arms parallel to the floor, forearms perpendicular to the floor. Rotate the wrist so the knife edge of your hand faces forward. Broaden across the top of the back. Shoulders down. Don't just let the shoulders lift. The shoulders still move down, but the back outer part of your shoulder bones move away from each other. And then we're going to swing the arms out and swing them back in. So swing them out and then reverse, which is on top, swing it in. Upper arms parallel to the floor, forearms perpendicular to the floor. Rotate the wrist so the knife edge of your hand faces forward. broaden across the top of the back. Shoulders down, broaden across the top of the back. And release. All right, who wants to have fun today? All right, we got one person for fun. Now everyone's going to have fun. Fun means we're probably going to fall. And that's okay. Hands on your hips. These are the legs for Garudasana. Garudasana is a balancing pose. We worked on balancing the other day. It helps to not stare at me, but find a point forward. You might have to look at me as we get started, but remember you want your gazing point. So bend your legs. Leave the right leg down. Take your left leg over your right leg. Oh, this is hard for me today. And you have to hook the foot around your calf. You don't have to, but that's where you want to go. So that foot hooks around your calf. And then release and come up. I think we're going to go on our backs in a minute, but let's just finish the other side. And then I'm going to prove to you that you can all do this. Bend your legs, right leg over left leg. You have to bend the leg in order to get that hook. You can't do it with a straight leg. Yes, falling. We celebrate when we fall. Thank you for falling. And then come on up. All right, so watch. We're all going to go on our backs. Watch for a second. You're going to bend your legs into your chest. You'll take your, I'm not going to mirror right now. So you take your left foot over your right leg, not foot. You take your left leg over your right leg, and then you cross them and get your ankle around that calf. Now, if you're like this, it's not going to work, right? If this, what would be the standing leg is straight, it's not going to go. So you have to bend your legs towards you in order to make that action happen. And then we'll release and we'll switch sides. And this side is not as easy as the other side. Why? Because this is my tight hip, but we do the best we can. All right, lie back. So bend your legs into your chest and take your left leg, your left thigh over your right thigh. And you may, you saw one leg went fairly easy, the other leg, not so much. Okay, that's fine. You have to bend those legs into your body though. And then it also depends on the size of your thighs, your calves, all of it, obviously. And seek that right foot underneath your right ankle, whether it goes or not. But if you don't take those knees into your chest, you have no shot at it. And then do your other side. You got to bend those legs into your chest. So right leg over left now. And then that right foot, you want to work it around that calf ankle area. Got to take the knees into the chest in order to even have a shot at it. And then switch legs. I didn't even know we were going to do this today. Somebody apparently needed this. Try and hook that foot under. And notice how the sides are different. Without judgment, just notice that the sides are different. And then switch sides. So that right leg is over your left. The hook, the foot seeks to hook around. Notice both sides are different. It's okay. And release. Roll to the side, come up. So now you know where your body is at. Some got the hook. Now you know you can hook. Some didn't quite get there, but now you know how far you did get and where your body is today, okay? And that's totally fine. And look, if you're here, that's okay. But where you don't want to be is here, right? This leg is not straight or even straightish because you don't have a shot at getting there. But as you go down, the further down you go, there, now I have it, okay? So if you, well, we're just going to do legs first. So I'll give the next thing in a second. So bend your legs, really bend them, and take that left leg over your right leg. And this is my more difficult side as I mirror. And it's not making the cross today. And some days it does. I've gotten this before, but today, you know what? It is not going. So that's okay. But I'm still going to sit into it, and I'm still going to seek that. And then come on up. And you should, your goal should at least be as far as you got when you were lying back. Okay? Even though I didn't get there. It's still our goal. Bend your legs. Cross the right over left. See, even the teachers lose their balance, and we have to hop a little bit. But that's why you can't look around the room while you do this. And come up. And yeah, if you have a wall behind you, you can use the wall. That's okay. One more time. Bend your legs. So left over right. Get as much as you can. Sit into it. And then switch. Up to center, bend the legs, and you're right over left. If you fall, celebrate. And then come on up. All right, now we put it together. If you get it backwards, not the end of the world. But when you're standing on your right leg, the right arm is on top. When you're standing on your left leg, the left arm is on top. So bend your legs, and you'll take your left leg over your right leg and try and get that hook. And the more you do it, so now I'm getting closer to it for me. Now, if you have your balance, you add the arms, right arm over the left arm. I know. Hey, I told you we were having fun. Did I not say this would be fun? Elbows up. Rotate the wrist, knife edge of your hand forward. And release. Celebrate however far you got. Bend your legs. Opposite. So now right over left. Hook as best you can. Get your gazing point, right? Stare. And then left arm over right. If you fall, celebrate. Enjoy it. Laughing is good. Laughing is healthy. Elbows up. Rotate the wrists. And release. Fine, I'll do it one more time. Bend your legs. Last one for fun. Right over, no, left over right. Left over right. Sorry, left over right. Add the arms. Right over left. Elbows up. Sit into it. Elbows up. Rotate the wrists. And release. Last one. Bend your legs. Right over left. Sit into it. Left over right as you add the arms. Gaze at that point. Gaze at your point. Sit into it. Elbows up. Rotate the wrists. And release. Congratulations. Give yourself a hand. At home too. Give yourself a hand. All right. Downward facing dog. Hands down. Let those fingers grow. Extend through the arms. Turn your toes under. Straighten your legs. Come into the pose. Thighs back. Chest towards your thighs. Sit bones up. Grow those fingers. Fingers wide. Fingers long. Lengthen through the inner arms, armpits, side ribs. How is this pose different now? that we opened up the shoulders and opened up the hips. Really press those thighs back. Work Carla, the openings of the back of the knees. You can take your feet a little further apart still. Take your feet to the edge of the sticky mats. That's it. Gives you more space there. That's it. Outer heels down, outer hips up. And then look up, walk your feet forward. Sweep your arms back, extend your heart forward. And inhale, come all the way up. Tadasana. Oh, that was so much fun. With each Trikonasana, fingertips up, bend your legs, jump your step. Feet underneath your hands. Drop your shoulders. Thighs back. Lift up through the side ribs. Extend through the arms. Chin parallel to the floor. Eyes calm, eyes soft. Left foot in, right leg out. Front heel in line with your back arch. Press the outer rim of the back heel. Turn the front thigh out. Lift from your outer knees to your outer hips. Inhale, reach that back arm. Exhale, come down. Press the back heel. Turn the front thigh out. Lift from your outer knees to your outer hips. Extend those arms away from each other. Pull yourself up and out. Other side, right foot in, left leg out. Press the outer rim of the back heel, turn the front thigh out, lift from the outer knees to the outer hips. Inhale, exhale, come down. Press the outer rim of the back heel. Turn the front thigh out. Lift from your outer knees to outer hips. Palm forward, George. That's the one. That's it, Kathy. Pull yourself up and out. Parallel your feet, jump or step your feet together. One more, fingertips up, bend your legs, jump or step. Left foot in, right leg out. Front heel in line with your back arch. Press the outer rim of the back heel. Turn the front thigh out. Lift from the outer knees to the outer hips. Inhale. Exhale. Come down. And everyone, take your left hand on your hip. Now, there's a tendency here to throw the whole buttocks back and take the torso forward. So I want you to take your tailbone straight forward. That's the wall in front of you forward. And take your whole torso. I'm not just saying rotate the torso, but take the whole torso, including your head, slightly back. Tailbone forward and take the torso back. Much better, Carla. And lean on that imaginary wall behind you. Take both shoulder blades onto that wall. So some people begin to overdo that turn also. Some people are underdoing it, and then we get it and we overdo it. So both shoulder blades, you had it, Carla, but then you lost it, went back to the default. So tailbone forward and the whole torso back. Watch that right shoulder. Keep the right shoulder back. Now add the rotation. You can, I'm not saying don't rotate. Now add right ribs forward, left ribs back, but don't overdo that. Keep both of your shoulder blades on your imaginary wall and extend your top arm up. But keep that tailbone going forward as you're here. And pull yourself up and out. Parallel your feet. Over to the other side, right foot and left leg out. Front heel in line with your back arch. Press that outer rim of the back heel. Turn the front thigh out. Lift from the outer knee to the outer hips. Inhale. Exhale, come down. Now again, take that top hand down. Take the tailbone straight forward and the torso back. Top hand down, George. Take the top hand down for now. Top hand on your hip. This hand, your right hand, just for now. So here's the other thing. Keep the front thigh turned out. But here's the other thing that's happening. So as you're bringing the tailbone forward, the back thigh tends to come forward, right? So keep that back thigh going back as the tailbone comes forward. And keep the torso leaning on that imaginary wall, moving back. The back of the head is on that same wall. Take the torso and the thigh back as the tailbone comes forward. So it's like you're trying to squeeze yourself between two panes of glass. And then extend your arm. And pull yourself up and out. Parallel your feet. Jumper step your feet together. One more time. Fingertips up, bend your legs. Jumper steps. You can start here. Take your tailbone forward, thighs back. Not a pelvic tilt. Don't do a pelvic tilt. Watch. You're not taking the front of your hips up. It's just the tailbone straight forward and the thighs straight back. Right? If you just do the tailbone forward, you're likely to do a pelvic tilt. And that's not what we're looking for. You can actually strain the lower back. Or let me say, I have strained my lower back doing that. Left foot in, right leg out. Front heel in line with your back arch. Press the outer rim of the back heel. Turn the front thigh out. Lift from your outer knees to your outer hips. Inhale. Exhale, come down. Top hand on your hip. So let's start where we were. So the tailbone comes forward, straight forward. Not forward and up, not in and up, straight forward. That's it. At the same time, the thigh goes back and the torso goes back. Now we're going to do something different with the arm. Instead of taking the arm up, I want you to take the arm straight back. Or you can see me. Like this, straight back. Palm faces forward. And Kathy, you're going towards the back wall. So when I say back, towards your heel. Closer forward, like Shalabhasana arms. And you're not just pulling with your hand, but you're pushing with your shoulder. You're pushing with your shoulder. And now keep extending through the arm, push with your shoulder. Do not let your shoulder come towards your ear and take your arm up. Shoulder still away from your ear. Now extend those arms away from each other. And then pull yourself up. Parallel your feet. Take your hands on your hips. And extend. Right foot in, left leg out. Front heel in line with your back arch. That back thigh goes back to press the back heel even here. Thigh back, tailbone forward. Turn the front thigh out. Lift from the front outer knee to outer hip, both outer knees to outer hips. Inhale, exhale, come down. Take the top hand down. So again, now the tailbone comes straight forward, not the tuck, not the in and up. That's different. There are poses we do that. Straight forward. And at the same time, that thigh goes back, the back thigh. And at the same time, the torso goes back. Now let's add that arm, Shalabhasana arm. It's going to go straight back. So it's pretty much parallel to the floor, slightly behind your body. So not just to the side, but it is slightly behind in this version. And from your shoulder, you're pushing back, trying to use your shoulder to help palm faces forward, George and Kathy. Use your shoulder to push your arm away from you. Arm is about parallel to the floor. And then keeping that shoulder pushing back, take the arm up. Extend those arms away from each other. Is your tailbone still forward? Pull yourself up. Parallel your feet. Jumper, step your feet together. Tadasana. Check in with yourself. Turn to face the side of the mat. Extend your arms forward, arms up, coming into a forward bend. Then we'll do downward dog. Hold your elbows. Inhale, come up. Exhale, come forward. Let your skull release. Let your arms go, hands on the floor. Walk your feet back. Downward facing dog. Press your thighs back. Watch those shin bones. Lengthen through the arms, armpits, side ribs, skull completely releasing. Let that skull release. Heels down, outer hips up. Look up, walk your feet forward. Sweep your arms back, extend your heart forward. Inhale, come all the way up. Tadasana. All right, take a couple blocks towards the front of your mat. Pavrita Trikonasana, revolved triangle pose. Oh, you know what, George, the chair might work better for you. So take the chair to the front though, not the back, and we'll see how it goes. Fingertips up, bend your legs, jumper step your feet apart. So this one, the feet aren't quite as wide. So instead of feet below your hands, it's feet below, about where the end of the forearm meets your wrist. Turn your left foot in, turn your right leg out. Now you need to square yourself towards the side of the room. So we're doing Pavrita Trikonasana. So you know what? Take your hands on your hips. Take your hands on your hips. Lift up your back heel. Take that left hip forward. Sometimes I need to adjust my foot there too. The foot doesn't point straight forward, but it points more forward. So about instead of the 60-degree angle, the 30-degree angle. I might have that reversed. So instead of a 30-degree angle, a 60-degree angle. However, that works. But keep that left hip going forward. And that left thigh turns back. Now take that block and put it on the instep of your foot. Take that block and put it on the instep of your foot. So you're going to want that chair closer to you, George, okay? That's it, good. So keep the back thigh turned in, keep that left hip coming forward, lengthen the groins and lift from the outer knees to the outer hips. Now reach up with your left arm, reach up to get that extension. We're looking to extend through the side body and extend the spine. Inhale, exhale, come forward, forward, forward. Take your fingertips onto that block. Now that right hip is forward. So take that right hip back to extend that side of the body. Extend the chest forward. Inhale, compact those hips together, and then turn. Turn towards your straight leg. Turn towards your straight leg. Rotate. So take your left ribs towards the back wall, your right ribs away from the back wall, and rotate. And to come out, you want to press in, really press into the back heel, and use your left arm, swing yourself up and out. And then that block's a little bit in the way, so you can parallel your feet, but just be careful for that block. And then we'll go to the other side. So you can move the one block out of the way if it's in your way. Right foot in, left leg out, pick up that back heel, square your hips to the opposite wall. Take the block, put it on your instep of your foot. To be clear, the final pose is your hand is on the floor on the outside of your foot, not the inside of your foot. But I find as we learn this pose that it's more accessible with the hand on the inside of the foot. But you can do what's best for you. Turn that back thigh in, turn the back thigh in, and with that, take the right hip forward. The front thigh does turn out, lift from your outer knees to your outer hips. So compact those hips, lengthen the groins and compact the hips. Remember what we were doing in the beginning in Tadasana? We were compacting the hips, but separating the tops of the thighs. So compact the hips and separate the tops of the inner thighs. Now extend your right arm up, reach up, inhale, exhale, come forward, 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 and then fingertips on the floor. So again, compact, take that left hip back now. The left hip goes back, compact the hips together. As you compact the hips together, separate the tops of the thighs. You'll get more in your twist if you can separate the tops of the thighs, but you still must compact the hips together. Inhale, extend the torso forward, extend the side ribs. Inhale, exhale, turn. Turn towards your back wall. Rotate. So now right ribs towards that back wall, left ribs away from the back wall. And then coming out, press into that back heel, swing with your right arm and come up and out. Parallel your feet and jumper step your feet together. Tadasana. So we're going to do this one more time. Watch for a second though, because I want you to see what happens to us. And I don't know how well it shows, but I'll do the best I can. When we turn, I might have to show you the other way. This hip that you can see, so I'm going to show it the other way, goes towards the wall. So let me show it the other way. So as we turn, there's a tendency for this hip, the front leg hip, whichever side you're going, the front leg hip begins to move towards that wall. So as I'm turning towards what I'm calling the back wall, right? This hip begins to also go towards the back wall. So I want you to take this hip away from the wall. And that also straightens out my torso, because as the hip goes, I'm going to exaggerate, but then I tend to go here. Yes, I'm exaggerating for most of us, but so you can see it. So as you take this hip away from the wall, your spine becomes more parallel to those walls. Is that even a reality? Can you be more parallel? I think it's either you are or you aren't. So sorry for that. And then you can twist more. And then maybe you'll extend your arm up, but maybe not. All right, so let's try it one more time. So blocks to the front, fingertips up, bend your legs, jumper step. And let's start with hands on hips here. Left foot in, right leg out, pick up your back heel, square your hips. So the back thigh turns in, that left hip comes forward. Let's get that block. So take that block on your instep. Back thigh turns in, the hip comes forward. Lift from the outer knees to the outer hips, compact the hips, but also separate, make space in the tops of the thighs. Left arm reach up, left arm up, reach up. Inhale, press the back heel as you come forward. Don't just go down, but go forward, 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 and then fingertips on the block. So before you go to the turn, let's do some adjusting. Lift from the outer knees to the outer hips. Lengthen the inner groins, and as you compact the hips together, make space at the tops of the inner thighs. Now take that right thigh back, extend the chest forward, and now begin the turn. Now begin the turn. And as you turn, that right hip wants to go towards the wall. So with your hand on that hip, turn the other way. There you go. Take that right hip away from the wall. Take that right hip away from the back wall. That's it. And then rotate. That gives you more space to rotate. More space to rotate. There you go. And then if you'd like, you can extend the arm up if you have your balance. If you lose your balance, just keep it on your hip. And if the arm is up, then extend those arms away from each other. And then pressing into your back heel, swing with your bottom arm, up and out, up and out. That's it. And parallel your feet, take your hands on your hips. Yep, chair to the other side. Good charge. Right foot in, left leg out. Pick up the back heel, turn. Take that block on the instep. So turn the back thigh in and take the hip with it. Lift from the outer knees to the outer hips, compact the hips together. As you compact the hips together, lengthen the inner groins and spread the tops of the thighs. Extend your right arm up. Now, don't just lean forward, press into the back heel, extend through the arm, inhale, and then extend forward, not down, but forward. Try and reach across the room, especially with your chest, not your arm. Now keep your chest extending forward, take your hand on the block. So again, let's establish the pose. Lift from your outer knees to your outer hips. Compact the hips. Lengthen the inner groins as you separate the tops of the thighs, maintaining the compacting of the hips. Take that left hip back. Maintain all that. Inhale, extend the chest forward. Exhale, begin to rotate the torso. Notice your left hip. Take that left hip away from the back wall. Take that two straight legs still. Take the left hip away from that wall. Lift from your outer knees to your outer hips and take the left hip away from the wall. And now rotate. Rotate. And then if you'd like, you can extend your arm up. Observe. Enjoy. And now, coming out, press into the back heel, use that bottom arm, the right arm, swing yourself up and out. Parallel your feet. And jumper step your feet together. Tadasana. Check in. And then turn to face the side of the mat. Arms forward, arms up. Hold your elbows the opposite way you did the previous time. Inhale, extend up. Exhale, come forward. And then let your arms go, hands on the floor, and walk your feet back, downward facing dog. Adamuka Varasana, downward facing dog. Turn your thighs and press your thighs back. Length through the arms, armpits, and side ribs. Lengthening through the inner groins, lifting from the outer knees to the outer hips as you compact your hips together. Skull completely releasing, relaxing, and letting go. And coming into child's pose, bend your legs, have your knees touch the floor at precisely the same moment. Then feet together, knees apart. Extend your arms forward, rest your skull. You can rest your skull on a block. Take your hands underneath your shoulders, push to come up. Lie back. Lie back, bend your legs into your chest and hold around both of your shins. Or behind your knees is fine too. Draw your thighs towards your torso. The sit bones move away from your waist. The hips move away from your waist. Now take your hands on the front of your knees, and on your inhalation, let your legs move away from you. And on your exhalation, draw your legs towards you. So inhale, thighs move away. Exhale, thighs move towards you. Hands are stay on your knees. Pace of your breath. Inhale, legs move away. Exhale, legs moving towards you. And then draw both legs into your chest on the exhalation and keep them there. Now hold around your right shin only and straighten your left leg just 2-3 inches above the floor. Turn your left thigh in, and then take your whole, extend through the inner left leg and take that whole leg down to the floor. Draw the right thigh towards your torso. Now take your right outer hip away from your shoulders so the two sides of your torso are equal in length. Lengthen through the inner left leg. Now on your inhalation, let that right thigh move away from you. And on your exhalation, draw the right thigh towards you. As you draw that right thigh towards you, take the outer right hip away from your shoulder and extend through the inner left leg. So we'll do a few breaths like this. So inhale, the right thigh moves away from your torso. On the exhalation, it comes back towards your torso. Pace of your breath. As it comes towards your torso, take the outer right hip away from your shoulder and extend through the inner left leg. Keep that left thigh turned in. Soft jaw. And then on your next exhalation, draw the right thigh back in and take the left leg in with it so the legs are next to each other, bent into your chest or into your torso. Now take your hands around your left shin only and straighten your right leg first 2-3 inches above the floor. Turn the right thigh in, and then from the thigh, not just the foot, but from the thigh, place that whole leg down. Keep the left thigh coming towards your torso. Now take the outer left hip away from your left shoulder so the two sides of your torso are equal and extend through the inner right leg. Now we'll add the breath. So on your inhalation, let your leg move away, let the thigh move away from you, left thigh, and on your exhalation, the thigh draws towards you. As the thigh draws towards you, take your outer left hip away from your shoulder and lengthen through the inner right leg. So we'll do a few breaths like this. The left thigh is moving away on the inhalation, coming back towards you on the exhalation. As it comes towards you, take the outer left hip away from your shoulder and extend through your inner right leg. Remember that the right leg, the thigh does turn in, toes are up. On your next exhalation, take that thigh towards the torso and draw your right leg in to meet your left leg. Hold both thighs towards your torso. That was a beautiful opportunity to say something kind to yourself, to bathe in your own true splendor. And take your hands on the face of your knees. Inhaling, let the legs move away from you. Exhaling, drawing the legs towards you. Pace of your breath. Massaging of the lower back, a massaging of the abdomen. And on your next inhalation, let your feet come to the floor. Straighten your legs one at a time. Let your legs go. Find a comfortable place for your arms. Let go. Done a lot of work today. Now it is time to restore. Because Iyengar calls Shavasana maximum recuperation with least wastage of energy. Maximum recuperation. Let your arms and legs completely let go and surrender. Let your hands completely surrender. Let your feet completely surrender. Let your hips completely let go. Let your shoulders completely let go. We worked on the hips today. We worked on the shoulders today. Let them go. Let the skull release. The skull completely let go and surrender. All the facial features letting go. The neck and throat as well. Rest your eyes into your cheekbones. Let the entire face release and relax. It should begin to feel as if the skin, the flesh is melting away, dissolving away. Become a witness for the breath. Become a witness for the breath. Giving the breath permission to use your body to do its work of breathing. Again, slowly coming out, take a soft, smooth, peaceful inhalation and a longer, smooth, peaceful exhalation. Wiggle your toes, wiggle your nose. Bend your legs, place your feet on the floor with your knees together, feet apart. Take your hands onto your abdomen or onto your chest. When you feel ready, extend your right arm past your right ear, roll to the right side. Of course, you can do the opposite side if you'd like. Rest your right ear into your right upper arm. When you feel ready, take your top hand, place it on the floor in front of your heart, turn your torso towards the floor first, then push to come up. Come up chest first, head last. Come up to sitting. Bring your palms together. Observing your practice. And let's close our practice together by chanting one collective Om. Deep inhalation. Om. Gently let your eyelids open. Big smile. Namaste. Bow to